I love this guy's passion. That
Okay.
got me hyped.
Okay.
I was ready to go through a wall.
Okay, so we spent a lot of time talking about what the Super Bowl meant to Philly, celebrations, all that stuff.
They won it in Philly.
He's really been waiting to get that out there since the pregame show. So shout out to you.
I finally got it off my chest.
What does this loss mean for the Patriots?
White supremacy takes a loss. I'm not kidding, but it means they really screwed the pooch on this because Belichick was forced to trade away.
Yes, Kenny liked to speak in metaphors that don't always make sense, but sometimes he gets to the point.
Tom Brady voted for Donald
together.
Trump, and Donald Trump's a white supremacist. I'm just going to assume Tom Brady's white supremacist.
I wasn't talking about that.
Oh, I didn't know what you meant. My bad. Sorry, jumped the gun.
No, I knew what you meant with the white supremacy. It was the one after that I blocked out of my head. But yeah, go ahead.
I blocked it out of my head too.
Go ahead, continue.
Thank you for making me lose my train of thought almost. Anyway, when you have the fact that Belichick didn't want to get rid of Garoppolo, he knew Brady was nearing the end. All the receivers are hurt. By the way, Brandon Cooks, we saw a grown man die on national television and be brought back to life.
And it was a clean hit.
It was a clean hit, and he never saw that was the spirit of Sheldon Brown gutting Reggie Bush in the NFC wildcard game years ago when the Saints were on the way to winning the Super Bowl. So when it comes to them losing, their defense is trash. They really, Dante Hightower being hurt really hurts their defense. They're probably going to have to go linebacker. They're going to have to go heavy defense. They've got enough from role players, but the next defensive coordinator is really going to have to focus on, schematically, you have to have guys at certain positions who can just do a job. Because the whole Patriot way thing, fitting square pegs in round holes, it's not working like it used to. And then the stupidest decision ever to not play Malcolm Butler for whatever he did. After what Chandler Jones got away with, butt naked, high off all types of drugs.
Spice.
Yeah, synthetic weed, for everybody who doesn't know that. By the way, if you didn't learn anything from Tyrann Mathieu almost ruining his life in college, don't smoke synthetic weed.
And Robert MDT.
And Kim Dichi? Yeah. Don't do it. You'll jump out your window. You'll break a leg almost. You'll kill your draft stock. And for you regular people out there who aren't NFL athletes, it'll destroy your life. But anyway, back to the point.
There was one?
Yeah, there was several. There's always a point. But bottom line is, they really philosophically, there's a rift in the Patriots organization. They're weak. It's like in the movie 300 where Cersei gets his face cut open with the spear. They're like, oh, crap, this dude can actually bleed. They're hemorrhaging. The Patriots are in trouble because they gave away Garoppolo, and Garoppolo's got a 5-year, $137 million contract, $30 million a year, highest contract annually ever. And that's who Belichick wanted.
Hey, you want to do me a favor and, not give away all the stuff we're going to talk about later in one take, or maybe tease it a little bit better? I'm just saying.
Oh, I did tease it. I have something for that segment. I'm just not going to say it because it involves
saying because
it involves John Lynch, but I'm not going to say it.
Between you taking my takes and,
I'm sorry you forgot your notebook in the car.
And taking all the links for future, talking points.
I'm sorry that my notes are deeper than yours.
I'm sorry that you can't.
You don't have a comeback right now.
Yeah, I don't. Anyways, my whole thing on the Patriots' legacy is
they're trash. And
it comes down to Brady. And Brady, as good as he was, they couldn't get that last second magic that we're used to seeing. It was just too much. Philly had too much of its own magic going on.
He lost them the game because he's the one who didn't see that hit coming. He didn't see the ball getting punched out. He lost the fumble. He felt like Cam Newton did against the Broncos.
I think in many ways
Brady's not used to them losing. He's not the reason they lose Super Bowls. He literally played the greatest Super Bowl anyone's ever played.
I think in many ways it was arrogance,
hubris
between the Belichick benching of Malcolm Butler. Okay,
he was crying.
Whatever the reports were, which most of them were fake, about him doing whatever type of stuff he was doing.
And spin. it's Patriots.
The fact is, he missed the plane. Okay, no one misses a Super Bowl plane, so I get why you're upset.
He also was fighting the flu all week, and he had a bad week at practice.
There's no sick days in the NFL. You show up, they tell you how sick you are. Come on, that's not an excuse. The point is, can I get to my take, please?
Get your take.
Damn. The point is, the Patriots' legacy has been showing cracks. Now, with the tension that was already reported before the year, combined with this Super Bowl, and the ultimate thing is the Patriots are on the downslide, and it's just a matter of how much Brady can give them. Like with Peyton Manning in his final years, when he was downgraded to a sort of game manager, they just didn't have the same offense.
When he couldn't throw 20 yards downfield?
Exactly.
But Brady can throw downfield. I don't know how, but they just don't have enough.
You can't expect him to keep being the comeback kid. Like as much as he's overcome and as much as he has been the comeback kid, and nothing lasts forever.
He's the John Cena of the NFL.
Okay. Are you going to elaborate?
Okay, for all you wrestling fans out there, here's why you should listen to this podcast.
Crickets.
And some of y'all are grown adults and y'all know what I'm talking about. John Cena's like just the top guy in wrestling, and anytime he wants to go away, but no one's filling his role. So the same thing with Brady. No one's beating Brady every year. He's still there. You have to remove him from that spot, and the Eagles did that. But no teams in the AFC are doing that. But they keep showing you the formula on how to beat Brady. Make sure Eli Manning shows up. 2, because, he was actually at the Super Bowl. And every time Eli Manning is near Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, he loses. And get a pass rush. Thank you. All I want is my respect. That's it. Anyway, when you have just the sheer fact that the Eagles had the better offensive and defensive lines in this game, bar none. James Harrison was not a threat to get past Lane Johnson, because Lane Johnson probably, I think, ran a faster 40 than Rob Gronkowski. I'm not even joking. He ran like a 4.6. It was ridiculous. And he's your right tackle, who could easily play left tackle, and Big V.
I think the Eagles just believed in themselves.
Yeah.
More than anything else. I think you saw that with how the receivers, even in that rant, people said they couldn't catch, which they still can't. But they're
consistent when
they played above themselves that game, as Nick Foles did, as collectively they found that synergy that you need to beat the Patriots. They found the synergy that the Patriots usually have, and they stole it. Which, by the way,
they didn't steal it. They were just better at it.
Is Nick Foles this generation's like Kurt Warner? Like, is he that sort of feel-good
Nah, he was
story?
drafted. He's more like we're thinking more Frank Reich, the Eagles' offensive coordinator. It's like
crickets.
He engineered one of the greatest greatest comebacks in football history in the playoffs.
But that wasn't a comeback.
I mean, I was hot. I'm thinking of
Super Bowl.
But still. Literally, he's been played lights out all playoffs.
Okay, so if
he played better than Flacco did when Flacco won.
So let's say hypothetically.
Time out.
Let's say hypothetically Nick Foles goes on and becomes a starter and gets his team to another championship game or deep playoff run. Then you're talking about him being in the Kurt Warner status. Because remember, Kurt Warner didn't catch on until late.
He was a league MVP.
Yeah.
And full Arizona. First off, Warner went to Northern Arizona and played pretty much indoor football. Nick Foles was a legit. People at one point thought he was the first round pick. Statistically, the greatest quarterback in Arizona football history. And he can throw the rock, but they also thought he was too fleet-footed. They thought he had stone for feet, that he couldn't move in the pocket like Ryan Mallett.
Was he Gronk's QB?
No, it was after. Gronk left out his junior year. Willie Tuatama was the quarterback. But you have Nick Foles and what he did. He's a serviceable starter, but I feel like he's better than Derek Anderson. Like, Derek Anderson had a Pro Bowl year for the Browns, and I wish they would have made the playoffs that year because they were 10-6.
They were a winning team.
And Braylon Edwards had 16 touchdown catches that year, height of his career. with that Eagles team, just the only thing I can think of is just guys stepped up like perfectly. Their left tackle, I can't say his last name, but Big V, he was Jason Peters' backup. They thought they were going to have to move him to right tackle. I think he's a rookie too.
And move Lane to left,
which is going to be the future because Lane Johnson is that great, and it's crazy. Like you have all these guys dominate the offensive line, and then the defensive line was just constantly in Brady's face. They hit him a lot. They didn't. Okay. They only sacked him once, but they hit him a lot. Okay. And those are the keys.
So we've talked a lot about the Super Bowl, but let's move forward. So moving forward, you already kind of talked about Malcolm Butler. We already talked about Malcolm Butler. Where are some places you can see him landing? Because he's basically already been on IG saying farewell to Patriots fans, which Brady liked because he's petty, and Belichick downplayed the whole situation because that's what he does. But basically, he's gone from New England. Where are some places you think he can and should land?
Arizona, Oakland, because David Amerson got cut by the Raiders. He's not going to go to the Chiefs because they have Kendall Fuller now.
I feel like he needs to be a slot corner. Like, he needs to be a full-time slot corner. I feel like that's his best role.
He can cover, but it's just...
I feel like, yes, he can...
the Patriots run is...
I feel like, yeah, he can cover, but I don't feel like you want him to be your best corner. You want him...
He went to a Pro Bowl a couple years ago.
Say that to yourself again.
He went to a Pro Bowl
and how many other
2
people?
Years ago.
And how many alternates was he?
Nah, I think he was maybe the first alternate.
Okay, bro.
He's not a bad corner.
Okay, I'm not saying he's bad, but I'm saying
that's why he should go to Arizona.
He's a great third corner. And he's a dude who can
he was
start
a starter, bro. That's disrespect. He's playing 98%.
He's a starter. I'm not saying he's not a... Bro, a third corner is a starter now in the NFL. Is it not?
You said he's a slot guy. He's not
Yeah,
a slot
he's
guy.
a
He
slot
can cover
guy.
your number one or your number two.
But you wouldn't want him to unless they're in the slot because he's a slot corner. That's where he's best at. That's foul. That's where you're putting him in his best position to succeed.
As a number two corner?
You can play him at number two corner, but at the same time, why?
He's versatile.
His strength is his versatility, his tackle. But that's where he made the play that won him a Super Bowl MVP and won the game.
That was a stupid throw, but yes.
So, slot corners get paid. Being a slot corner is not disrespect. It's a specialized position. It's putting your players in a position to succeed. There's nothing wrong with being a slot corner.
Anyways, DJ Hayden. Actually, I just made your point.
Anyways, yeah, he got paid, and he's actually playing better.
But shout out to former Raider Steven Wisniewski getting a Super Bowl ring.
That's just not.
And he was like 87 overall for the Raiders at one point.
And Chris Long getting back-to-back, and LeGarrette Blount.
And Chris Long played for free this year.
Basically, he gave up his salary.
Run game was amazing for literally, the run-pass option is perfect for that team.
LeGarrette Blount did not have that second gear, but man,
he was running hard. Gear. He broke.
He broke. Nah, chill, bro. Nah, he got hawked.
He got hawked.
He was
never fast.
Bro. Chill. He was faster than that, bro. In Tampa, come on.
Yeah.
he looked like Tyrone Wheatley out there, bro.
That's disrespectful. Tyrone Wheatley played like crap in that Super Bowl.
Okay, so speaking of moving forward,
Darrelle Revis got cut by the Chiefs.
Nobody cares, but all right.
That was the perfect update to your segue. I just had to do it.
That really wasn't.
I was being petty.
Yeah, no. Okay, Jimmy G, as you mentioned earlier, cashed out 5 years, $137 million for your San Francisco 49ers. So shout out to them.
First off, they're not. I will stab you. Like in a non-fatal area. How dare you say that to me? I hate the Niners.
So,
passion.
In tribute to a game that we usually play, is this a touchdown or a turnover?
A friend of mine said this is a terrible idea. I would have to agree with him.
Two-toe?
I said it's a turnover because you don't invest that much money into a guy who threw 7 touchdowns, 5 picks. Yeah, he turned the team around, and you're building around him, and you're building the defense up through the draft.